Welcome back to the Abundant Behavior Podcast. I'm your host, Ali Banks. And on my channel, I like to bring faith and business and combine it all on one platform. You know, they say that the biggest gap in the world is between knowing and doing. And the reason a lot of people don't do simply is because they lack the knowledge. What I like to do is I like to bring various entrepreneurs on my platform to speak on various topics. But today we have Motivation Monday. And Motivation Monday is simply when I give you guys some gems, some tools, a word or a message from the Bible, just so you guys can kickstart your week and have a great week. So this week, the message that I wanted to bring you guys was stepping into the unknown. Having that faith to step into the unknown. So what does this look like? What is the unknown? So I wanted to go ahead and define it. You know, I like definitions. I want to get down to what it exactly means so that it can make sense. But what is the unknown? What are we talking about when something is unknown? So it says that not known or familiar. So something that is unknown is just simply not known or familiar. You simply don't know it or it's not familiar to you. But one thing that stood out to me the most was the word familiar. How often do we stay in relationships because they're familiar? How often do we stay at a job because it's familiar? How often do we continue to serve our bad habits just simply because they're familiar and it's what we are used to? I want to tell you that your comfort zone is going to be your danger zone every single time. So where you feel the most comfortable, that's probably where you're going to feel the most lack in your life. Because nothing around you that's blessed by God should be in lack. Everything should be in the overflow. It should be in abundance. So if you have any area of your life that's lack, you're going to always feel that lack. You're going to always feel like you have something that you need to feel within inside of you. You're always going to feel unfulfilled. So walking into that unknown, walking into that space of maybe. My mentor once told me, he said, Ali, he said the average person is going to take the guaranteed over the what if. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? He's like, well, a lot of people, they have these jobs that they've been having. They know they don't like these jobs. And they're going to continue to work this job because they know it's going to for sure get them this set amount of money. They're going to work these set hours. It's for sure going to get them this set amount of money. He said, you know, and a lot of them, they want to be business owners, but they don't want to walk into that what if. And so he told me the what if is, okay, what if I start this business and I can make $100,000 in 1 month? What if this business goes as planned and I become a millionaire from this business? So that's what he told me. He said you have to have the faith of a mustard seed, right? And everybody always says this. It's in the Bible. Just have the smallest faith. You don't have to have this big faith. Just have the assurance in God and fall into his love that he brought you this far, but he didn't bring you this far to leave you where you are. So just moving into those spaces that's unfamiliar. Me, myself, one thing that I like to do is I like to do things that are uncomfortable. I always see myself, like if I feel like if I'm getting uncomfortable with something, I always challenge myself. Well, how can I make this a little bit harder for myself? You know, just like when I first started reading the Bible real heavy. You know, I started off on the Bible app and I got me the word of the day. I would read that, you know, amen, I say my prayer. But then something was like, all right, this is getting a little too comfortable for you. Let's amp it up a little bit. Let's step into the unknown. How much will your faith grow if you decide to move from reading that word of the day and try to amp it up to a page a day? And so I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to step into this unknown familiar territory and I'm going to actually see if this will increase. And so I did it. And the more I started to read that page a day, I'm like, okay, let me read 2 pages. Right? Okay, well, this is increasing my faith even more. Let me step into the unknown. Let me start to read chapters. And that could be anything within your life. It can be keeping that job, but also having your entrepreneur endeavor on the side. But never having that thought in the back of your mind, like, man, what if I would have started that job left that job 3 years ago and got into that business. You don't want to look up in 3 years and have regret. One thing that I always tell myself is I want to have all my regrets to be few. Like, I really don't want to have no regrets. When I get to the point where I have grandkids and I'm finally sitting down somewhere, I don't want to look up and say, man, I could have did this, or I should have did that, or I should have did this, or I could have, you don't want to have any regrets, right? Because the most expensive currency a person has is their time. You can never get time back. You can't get that second back. You can't get the 5 minutes that you've already invested watching into this video back. So you have to make sure that you're doing the right things with your time, number one. But also, when you're doing these things, have the faith that they're going to work. You have to have that faith that it's going to work. One thing that I do in order to increase my faith is I just always tell myself positive affirmations. God, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm driving my dream car. God, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm living in my dream home. God, I'm so happy and grateful now that I could walk around in this big house, God. You have to live in your imagination. But it starts with the small things, and you have to build on your faith. It takes me back to when I was in the military. I always relate my story back to the military because when I was getting out the Navy, at the time, a lot of my friends, we were all getting out around the same time. So I really had a whole lot of examples of what it looked like for somebody to get out and be successful. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard, but when you're in the military, they try to push it as though the military is the end all be all. It'll be nothing after you get out, and it's going to be really hard for you to get back on your feet. And so you start to eat that up, right? And you start to listen. It starts to seep into your mind because obviously in this environment, everybody's saying it. For one, that goes to show your environment is everything, but also the relationship you have with God is more important than anybody ever would ever say. Anything anybody has to say, it doesn't trump what God has to say. And so I always kept that in the back of my mind. Even though you had people doubting and you had people pushing their insecurities on me, I always knew God wanted me to do something greater. I always knew God was calling me to get out of the military and do something greater than what I was doing. So what if I would have stayed in, listened to those people, and not leaned on God? I would probably still be in the military. I'd probably still be the same rank, probably still walking around depressed, sad, asking, why is this my life? Regretting that I didn't get out years previously. And so now this is my life. Now I'm walking in my purpose. Now I'm motivating and inspiring people on social media. My photography is taking off like crazy, but only because I've been leaning into God. And I had that faith of a mustard seed to go ahead and get out of the military and pursue something greater than what I was already doing. Because I took my mentor's advice a few years ago and I was like, I'm going to take that what if over that guaranteed. Like, I'm guaranteed this contract in the military. I'm guaranteed to stay in. But I think I want to walk into that what if. I want to walk into that unknown. And that's the thing that you have to do. You have to build up on your faith. All right, I know that I got out the military and I'm good now. Okay, God, I got you. Thank you so much. Thank you, God, for getting me through that. Okay, next obstacle. Okay, God, now I'm about to start this business that, I got out to start. Okay, you start that business. Your confidence go a little bit higher. All right, God, I'm going to get my first sale. You get that first sale, your confidence goes higher. Your faith goes higher and higher. But you have to lean more and more on God. See, my biggest thing was in business when I first started out, I used to think the more that I work, the more money I would make. I just need to post this reel. It'll go viral. I just need to post more, and post more. But what I really needed to do was use my platform for what God was intended for me to use it for. See, I got real big headed on social media at one point, and so I started to let social media lead me instead of letting God lead me. But not so much in a sense where it's like, oh, I was so social media, but it's more so I started my platform to push God. So whenever you find yourself in a rat race and you feel like you just forcing it, and you feel like you can't get that overflow, that blessing that you looking for, it's probably because you're trying too much and not leaning on God enough. You have to give him room to work, but you have to know that in the back of your mind, it will work. It doesn't matter what the outcome is, it will work. It doesn't matter if you don't even get the result that you're looking for from what it is on the other side of that door. But now like, okay, cool. It's going to get you one step further. That's how you have to look at it. It's not failing if you continue to walk. The person that fails is the person that stops walking. Just continue to go in motion. Continue to go in the right direction. It's your journey. That was my whole thing. Getting caught up in comparison my platform to other people's platform. Or telling myself, oh, I should be where they are. You never want to get in a position where you're envying somebody else's success, or you telling yourself you want what they're blessed with. God has something for every one of us. But in order to get that, sometimes I'm not going to say sometimes, because it's growing pains when they come with reaching any level of success, because it's going to be unfamiliar. You have to learn new skills. You have to meet new people. You have to get outside your home. You have to do some research. You have to be up late night. You have to put some money into anything. You have to dedicate yourself to whatever it is that you want to do. But you have to have the faith that, all right, I'm doing all of these things because I know it's going to work out. 9 times out of 10, that's the reason most people don't start, is because they don't have the confidence that it's going to work out. But it's not more so the confidence in them. They need to lean more on God. Because if you lean on your own confidence, obviously you're gonna tell yourself every single time, I can't do it. Obviously you can't do it. It's brand new. But with God, if you ask him, he's going to bring you the right people. He's going to bring you the right reel. He's going to bring you the right mentor. He's going to bring you the right resources in order to have that funding that you need to start that business. But without him, you have none of that. I always find myself forcing stuff. But when you force, it just goes further and further. But when you let go, it comes to you. Don't force anything. Attract these things through that faith and that love in God. So I just want to bring you guys a word real quick, and it comes from Hebrews 1-3. And it says, now faith is confidence in what we hope for, and assurance about what we do not see. Confidence in what we hope for. You know, we hope that we're going to start this business, and it's going to have us walk into that land of milk and honey. It's going to have all our financial needs, and it's going to just impact the world. That's what we're hoping for, right? We have to have that faith and that confidence that what we hope for, and we can't see it, it's going to be done, even though we can't see it. So it doesn't matter that it's not here now. You don't let your current circumstances rob you of your vision. That happens a lot. Don't let where you are rob you of where you can be. Because if God putting that vision on your mind, he's telling you, hey, follow me. I'm taking you here. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some growing pains. You're going to really have to work hard for this. But if you really dedicate yourself to me, this is where I'm taking you. If you keep that faith in me, this is where I'm going to take you. So don't move off your path. Stay straight. Follow me, and I'm going to get you here. Right? Then it says, this is what the ancients were commended for. So even before us, the people that came before us, they was commended for this. They were commended for their faith. God blessed them because of their faith. He blessed them because they couldn't see the blessings right in front of them, but they knew it was coming. And that's why God blessed them the most, because they had that faith. He blesses you if you feel him and you fear him without actually seeing his presence. That's when he blesses you the most. Then it goes and say, by faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command. So everything around you wasn't here at some point. It all came through God's command. It all came through people that God created. Therefore, he put the message on them to create everything you see. Therefore, everything around you was made by God. Aren't you the same person? Don't you come from the same God that made Elon Musk? Don't you come from the same God that made every millionaire, billionaire, or anybody that you deem successful? Didn't he come from the same God? I always tell myself this. People are so amazed at the things that people create. People are so amazed at the success that people have. People are so amazed at the things people do. But I'm like, okay, cool. You come from the same God. You have the same amazing abilities within yourself. You have to lean more into that, focus more into that, and have that faith that it will work. So this was another Motivation Monday. I hope you guys take that word, take that motivation, so that you can get to your journey and your destination a little bit further. Thank you.